You're most welcome in our program. How are you doing?
I'm very well, Sushma ji. Thank you so much for having me.
What a lovely day.
It is. It certainly is.
Especially for you.
Especially for me.
So, an accountant. You're a chartered accountant. You were an accountant in India as well?
That's right. I was chartered accountant from India, and I practice accounting here as well.
Now, I know you as a person who is fond of music, who's fond of poetry, who's an artist. You had aspirations of being in films and TV shows, and that is very creative.
Right.
And accounting is, if I may use the word, very boring.
It is, certainly. Most of the people say it's a very boring profession.
Yes.
In fact, my own daughter says that I have kind of wasted my creativity. I have... And she says, I don't know how you can do it all day with numbers, surrounded with numbers. It is certainly a boring one. But the profession is boring, but I'm not.
Or like that.
Yeah.
So, for a person who is so much interested in poetry and art, how do you switch that off while you're doing your accounting, or how does that complement each other?
I don't switch it off. I think it's like, it's a coin. You know, there are two sides of the coin.
Okay.
So I think that's another side of me. It doesn't leave you. It's always there.
If you were given a chance, would you, and you had the opportunity of doing what you wanted to do and go into theatre and movies and TV serials, would you give this life up for that?
I won't say that I would give this life up because I have no regrets in life. Okay. I have made most of it. I have made most of what has come to me. And I think wisdom lies in that. I enjoyed my theatre time. I enjoyed dancing. I enjoyed singing. And I was good at it. And I enjoyed that time. And I'm enjoying what I'm doing now too.
Well, you continue singing because you're fond of singing and you're fond of poetry. We'll come to that because that's a totally different aspect, because I've got some really fantastic questions for that. But let's go back and take you to your childhood. Where were you born, and what sort of a household were you being brought up in?
I was born in Delhi. My father was in defense services.
Okay.
So in the earlier childhood, till I was 13, we kept moving. So I have moved all around India. I have lived in different places, learned different cultures, different people, different values, and a happy family.
Right.
Right. I had two siblings, two younger sisters, a close-knit family. And then when I was almost 13, my dad took voluntary retirement from forces. Just because I think he had three girls who were teenagers.
Yes.
And you know, it is hard because the last posting he had was not a family posting.
Right.
So he was struggling because, you know, it was difficult at that time. So I think that was the decision he took, he thought was right.
Right.
And we moved back to Delhi.
Okay.
That was an entirely different chapter for my life. It was a big change.
Right.
For the reason that we were, you know, as you say, the defense personnel lifestyle as compared to the civilian life.
Okay, so because there is a huge difference.
Huge difference. And I did feel it, and it was not only culturally, not only values-wise, I think financially too. I've
met and heard from many people that they are they are brought up totally differently. They go to different schools. Their etiquette is different.
Absolutely.
What is it? What is the difference?
I think I've had both kinds of life.
Yes.
And my dad was in defense services, and when we were traveling and we were being posted in different places,
right.
You know, we used to learn different cultures.
Okay.
We used to meet different people, and money was not that very important.
Okay.
You know, having good values, being brought up in a healthy atmosphere, I think that was more important.
And the schooling was in better schools?
It was always, and I have always all through studied in Kendriya Vidyalayas, that is central schools. So, and different challenges. Every new place you go to, you know, every city has a different character of its own.
Yes.
Every place is challenging. And in those times, we did not have the convenience of telephones, technology, You know, I remember the last posting my dad had was in Assam,
Yeah.
where we did not even have a radio station.
Really?
Yeah. So the only radio station, the only radio program that we used to get
Yeah.
is for 1 hour. You know, Hindi Bollywood songs, 1 hour. And my dad knew that we were fond of this, and he cultivated that habit in us. I remember he bought a 2-in-1, you know, a National
Yeah.
Panasonic
Oh,
2-in-1,
okay.
and he brought 2 audio cassettes,
Yes.
and I categorically remember that one was Chaudhry Ka Chand and Barsat Ki Raat combination, and another was a Lata singing at England Palladium.
Oh, okay.
And then he brought a blank audio cassette,
yes.
and we used to record all sort of things.
Yes.
So the companionship, the togetherness, I think that was lost when, you know, it's kind of lost when you come
Yes.
to a different lifestyle, when you...
And a different city and a bigger city.
Yes.
You know, so when you were moving, were they smaller towns?
They were, some were smaller. Like I have lived in a place called Adhampur, which is it is a Air Force base.
Okay.
And it was close to Jalandhar.
Right.
But it was a very smaller place as such.
Right.
You know, more a town than a city or anything. And Chabua, most of the people haven't heard of that place. It is in Assam.
Uh-huh.
And it became a family posting very recently when we moved there. So technically we were in jungles.
Yeah.
There were hardly any, as I said, there was no radio station, there were
Right.
no theaters. But, you know, that one outing my dad used to take us out on Sunday to
Yeah.
a city close by, Dibrugarh.
Right.
Right? And he used to make us watch a movie. The entire family used to go together, and we used to enjoy that. And
Right.
it made so much difference.
And also you were young at that time, in your teens.
Right. I was 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have 2 sisters who are younger to you or
Who are
older
younger
to
to
you?
me. I'm the oldest one.
You're the oldest?
Yeah.
Ah, so more assertive, more confident, more...
I don't think the age or, you know, the number it makes a difference, but I think I've always been assertive. I've always been confident. It's, I think, a part of my persona.
I want to talk a little bit about your life in Delhi and how, because I've heard a lot about the way you were
Incredible.
Uh-huh.
Benazir
Benazir. Isn't
has
that
the
fantastic?
same meaning as Anupama.
Anupama. Okay, fantastic.
One of its own.
So
Kind.
it is.
Yes, it is.
It is. So mom and dad named you Anupama, and you've got 2 other sisters. It's very interesting to see that an Indian family that has just 3 daughters.
I must say that in the times when girl child is questioned, frowned upon, not welcomed in the family, I belong to a family, and I'm very proud to say this, who has welcomed girls, who have loved them tremendously, and we have grown up to be this confident, this assertive because of our parents and my grandparents for that matter.
Isn't that interesting?
It is.
Many people don't realize that, and there is a general persona out there that girls are not that preferred in the Indian
I think,
households.
yes, it does exist, and it does exist quite a lot. I wouldn't say that, you know, just a 5 or 10%, no.
No.
But I think I am that blessed 5%
Yes.
where, you know, we have been brought up equally
Yeah.
like boys. We've never, you know, been made to feel that you're a girl or, you know, looked down on something. If I wanted to play a particular sport, I was allowed to do that. I was into acting. I used to do theater. If I'm having late nights just because I'm acting out, there've been times when I'm, you know, coming back at 2 in the morning. My dad was always supportive of the fact.
So there was confidence
There
in
was.
you. That
There was.
They had trust in you.
I think the biggest factor is trust.
Yeah.
You know,
I think
and I
parents
say
need
this
to
to
do
all
that.
the parents, that you have to trust your children, you have to trust your upbringing, you have to trust the values you have imbibed in them.
So as a growing up in Delhi, then life, you said, was totally different. So
It was. The first challenge we had to face was a financial challenge.
Right.
And, you know, my dad being a technical radar consultant, coming back to Delhi, and that's when, you know, reality check, the reality hits you,
Yeah.
that this isn't the life we were hoping it would be.
Yeah.
But then I think we all took it in our stride.
Right.
I remember growing up, even as a teenager, I used to teach small students, you know, in the neighborhood,
Right.
and get some money so
Right.
that I could support myself. So when I started when I went to university, I started teaching, and I was also doing theater. So that was the time I stopped taking any kind of financial support from my father, thinking that, you know what, I think I'm going to do it on my own. The second challenge was when we were traveling in the, the public transits.
Right.
And eve teasing.
Yeah. Oh, men
was
over there.
Very, very prominent.
Yeah.
And, that was something, there are certain things in your life you feel very, very strongly about, right?
There was
I
one
think
of
a
them.
female child, domestic violence, eve teasing, dowry. These are the things I really feel very strongly about. I might sound like a feminist because these are all related to women, but I do feel it very strongly.
Feminist.
I am kind of, I guess. Yes. And I remember when I was growing up, I couldn't bear it that any girl is teased upon or somebody.
So would you beat up the guy?
I would beat them up.
No kidding.
No kidding.
And you've done that?
I have done that. I used to, we used to have this when I was in grade 10. We had a dissection box, and I had a needle, and I used to carry it, whatever you call it, whether you call it self-defense. Yeah. But I wouldn't let anybody, touch me or any other woman in front of me, any other girl in front of me.
And you would just poke them?
I would poke them.
And so did you?
I have slapped. I have poked.
So would you get into a fist fight?
I did.
And when you came home, how were you treated by mom and dad?
My dad was always scared of me. No, he was scared not of me, he was scared for me.
Yes.
Because of the, the kind of things, the kind of incidences that used to happen.
Right.
Because I categorically remember this one particular incident where a girl had fought a guy making advances towards her. And then that guy, because he wanted to take a revenge on her, he poured acid on her face. And so my dad was always scared of the fact that, you just go a bit too far. Yes, you're tomboyish. We understand your passion. We understand your, conflict. We understand, but, just, be careful because the world outside is, is indecent.
Being a tomboy and then parents wanting you to get married, because all Indian parents want their daughters to get married. Yeah. Was that an issue in the house?
It was a big issue because I think I was not prepared mentally to get married and settle down. Yes. And they did not stop me from being professionally qualified or anything. They just let me do. I wanted to do my chartered accountancy. They supported me. I used to go out on audits and everything. They used to support me. But yes, there came a time because with 3 girls, I was the oldest one, and the society pressure and everything. I think it's a natural progression too. Yes. Right. So he did want me to get married, and I wasn't ready. So there was a kind of a cold war in the family for almost 2-3 years. No kidding. No kidding. And then there came a point of time I said, you know what? Okay. What the hell? We have to do it. Let's do it. Okay. And then, so how did you meet your husband then? It's quite strange because nobody expected that out of me because they thought that I would fall in love and get married, or, because I was so confident and, I knew my way and wanted to do my own thing. But we got married with an advertisement in a matrimonial column in newspaper. And we both are very different from each other, as 2 people can be. Yes. But I am extremely happy that I made that decision because what I am today, there's a lot of contribution goes from my husband because the confidence, I think when you become accomplished, it's because you have people who are supportive and the biggest thing is that he has always let me be myself. That is very important. And he is not insecure. He is happy for me always. He's always encouraged me. I want to take you to your, moving from India, getting married, moving from India and coming to Canada, because that happened about, what, 10 years ago? Almost 14 years ago. 14 years. Total of half an hour with family surrounded. And we had nothing common other than our profession. So the only thing I remember talking in that meeting was, oh, what clients do you have? And he asked me what clients did I have. That's so cute. Because I don't think we had anything in common. And you know how in India it goes? We got engaged the very next week. Yes, of course. They don't give you time to do the courting and go out and get to know the person. No. Unlike today. They were just happy that you met with him. Let's just get it over with right now. Right. So, unlike today when the kids have the chance to go out, meet the person, decide for themselves. I don't think that decision was made. I think it was made for me.
Yeah.
I did not make the decision.
So you did not have the luxury of doing that?
No, but we did, after we got engaged, we did go out for almost 8 to 9 months. And every time I used to come back, I used to throw a tantrum saying, I don't want to marry this guy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's because we're very different.
Yes.
And you know, this is what I have realized in my marriage, because in the initial days, I was quite frustrated because he did not share my passion of poetry, music, acting, but at the same time, he was so supportive.
Yes.
That, you know.
So it was that supportive feeling of his.
Yes, because you know, I realized that he does not come with the trimmings, he does not come with the frills, but he's a gentleman. He's a nice human being, and that's what counts in the end.
Now you talked about poetry and songs, and okay, so you guys got married, and then we had
2 kids.
Yes, in India.
In India.
Yeah.
My daughter was 5.
Yes.
My son almost 2 when we moved here.
To Canada.
To Canada.
Okay, I'll come to that in a minute. But very quickly, you talked about music and poetry. Now, just recently you went back to India and you met the one and the only Gulzar Sahib.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, you are, if there's a person that you are in love with,
yes.
I think really.
Really.
Soul.
Absolutely.
In your soul, in your heart,
yes.
in your mind.
Everything.
I think it's Gulzar.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So Deepak, please don't look at this segment. We're just going to talk about.
No,
Gulzar.
he knows it because I used to tell him when we got married that Gulzar Sahib's voice and his work,
yeah.
his words touch me deep inside.
What is it about him that you like?
Everything. Everything.
So
you know, he can talk. He can quantify, he can talk about intangibles. हमने देखी है इन आँखों की महकती खुशबू. Now, how can you see a खुशबू? How can you see a fragrance? But he makes it real for you.
So, and I understand that you've got all his work.
I have all his work, his poetry, his music, his stories.
Yes.
Everything.
Now, when you met with him, how was that?
It was a beautiful experience. I just hope and I just wish that it could have been longer.
Yeah.
You know, I could have actually gotten an appointment and sat down with him
yes.
and listened to him do his readings or recite because, you know, he's marvelous at it.
Yeah, he is.
But whatever short time I got, I think it was more than enough for me in the sense that that's one thing I have always wanted in my life.
And you got that.
And you made it possible for me.
Well, we all made it possible because he is an amazing person.
He is.
So coming to Canada, was it a difficult decision?
The decision wasn't difficult. I guess what follows is difficult.
That's right.
Like, you know, when you're taking the decision, you don't know what's in store for you.
But you'd already experienced that as a child when you moved from a very secure places to your father taking a decision that he was going to, take you guys.
Just because we have been moving in the childhood, I don't know, I always had this thing in my life that I wanted some stability.
Yes. Yes.
But I guess, you should never say never, like how you say never, I don't want this, don't say that. Because you don't know what life has in store for you.
That's right. Your beginning time must have been a little tough.
It was. It was extremely tough because I had 2, little kids, and when you come from an already established household, an established profession, and then starting from nada, it is difficult. You got to upgrade yourself. You have to understand a new culture.
Yes.
And financially, it takes a toll on you. But I guess everything has, turned out to be pretty much okay.
Both of you are hardworking and you've made a name for yourselves, both of you.
Thank you.
And you've got 2 beautiful children who are, one of them, in fact, both of them take after you.
Yes, they do.
As far as the creative aspect is concerned.
That's true.
So what do you have in store for them?
I have nothing in store for them because life has in store for them, and even they don't know because, when, it's very strange because when humans say, oh, I'm planning for this.
Yes.
Up there, he laughs.
Yeah.
Because he is the planner, we're not. And he says, okay, you make the plans, keep making.
Or she makes the plans.
He or she. I think, yeah.
Okay.
So I stand corrected on that.
Yeah. So Anu, what do you see yourself doing in the next 5 years?
You know, I'm a very content person. And I think that is important for your own peace of mind.
Yes.
Because if you're not content, you keep on looking, and you keep on searching and finding things. You know, you have to find peace and contentment within yourself. I'm content the way I am. You know, I have recently, a few years back, started working with seniors.
Yes.
I just volunteer with them,
yes.
which gives me great satisfaction and gratification. You know,
so that's the giving side of you.
Yes, it is.
We haven't even talked about your cooking. We haven't talked about your singing. We haven't talked about poetry. We haven't. But this has been an interesting interview.
Thank you so much.
And I wish you all the best in the years to come.
Thank you, Sushma ji.
I think we will do another interview.
We'll do.
Yeah. I think we will.
I think we'll do the poetry session maybe.
I think we should do that.
We should do that.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I know that you're fond of poetry too.
I love poetry.
We do share that love and interest.
That's right.
So I think we should dedicate one particular. I think you did mention it too.
Yes.
That we must do it sometimes.